All right. So the trend of yesterday with the new guy who hasn't yet answered it, Drace. Why, how, when, what, who, when, where, why did you become a flat earther?
Me, it was back in 2014. I have always explored beyond the box, if you will, like looked at the extremities of theories and or theoretical science and different ideas. So I always loved looking at that kind of stuff. So when I saw Flat Earth 200 Proofs by Eric Dubay on YouTube, I was like, okay, I'll check that out. But like, I thought it was retarded, and as I kept watching it, I was like, okay, I have excuses for this. Like, you obviously don't know about gravity. You obviously don't know about refraction, and because I surface level knew about all these things. Obviously, you go through education, you learn about these things, but somehow you think that other people have never learned about these things. But I had highly educated friends because like I didn't like become an astrophysicist. I eventually dropped out of school and just kept on studying for myself because I just didn't want to pay and waste my time in school. I felt the education was too slow and it wasn't at my pace, so I liked learning on my own. And so I just kept on studying myself, and I was very into psychology. But I had two friends from school who went on to, one became an astrophysicist, the other one became a robotic engineer. And so when I saw that video, I thought, I have these friends who are highly educated in this topic and could provide me with experiments and proofs so that I could show this flat earther about gravity, about refraction. And so I got both of them to chat with me in different texts, and then I just played devil's advocate. I just asked them questions about the model, asked them for evidence and experiments, and the more they attempted to provide, the worse it looked, because I could easily poke holes in a bunch of the shit and they couldn't answer it without going into imaginations and having no actual substance to back that. And then it ended up with basically the astrophysicist and the robotic engineer proxy fighting between each other through me, because one of them held, or the robotic engineer held, Newtonian gravity as like the standard. I would call everything the other guy said, or the astrophysicist said about Einstein and his conception of how things worked, retarded, and vice versa. And because they were kind of invalidating each other, and it kind of started with the astrophysicist calling the other one retarded, and so the other one got a little bit triggered and they just started fighting. And so that didn't feel very good for me when all I had was my belief in the globe and these people who were supposed to be my experts, and here I was, technically a layman, even though I'd studied roughly a little bit of these things on the side because like my friends were into this, and I love physics and love science. And so that was the like almost a breaking point for me. But so after that conversation, I kept talking to the astrophysicist friend because he was like my closer friend, and we played games together for years, and he'd always kind of looked up to me because I had more like social intelligence, if you will. He was very awkward. He was better at math than me. And so, like, we kind of complimented each other. I helped him get his first girlfriend and stuff like that. when he was young. So I felt like I kind of had access and was able to talk to him more, but when I showed all this resistance to his beliefs, playing devil's advocate, he got so defensive that he tried to attack me, and I was like, I'm not a flat earther, I'm just trying to understand this so I can present it to the flat earthers. But he got so angry that we went back and forth, and eventually he's like, I'm not going to talk to you. And at that point I'm like, okay, well, no problem. And we went our separate ways, and I just started looking at all the flat earth content I could find to just try to understand, how the hell do you try to explain all this stuff if there's no solid ground for me to stand on in my globe belief? How do you guys explain this? And then I went through all that theory crafting period, which generally happens when you go through this flat earth awakening. You go through this period where you want to replace the old model, and so you think about all of these different ways to try to model things out, when that's not really possible without more data. You can, if you're basing it on assumptions, you can always imagine different things to fill those spots and bend things to make it work with your idea. That's not good enough for me, and so I eventually came to the point where I'm like, okay, I guess I'm a flat earther, and I started talking to the guys here on 24/7 on YouTube, joined the Discord, and that's my story.
So are you saying that the robotic engineer doesn't believe in Einsteinian gravity, and he only believes in Newtonian gravity? I find it hard to believe that
it's not that
the other guy stupid.
It's not that he doesn't believe in Einsteinian gravity. It's that the Einsteinian conceptions, some of those conceptions he doesn't agree with, and thinks that the Newtonian way of looking at things is more correct. And so they would argue like cats and dogs over, for instance, the inertial reference frame and other things like that.
So again, that still doesn't make sense, because the astrophysicist who would have said, he favors Einsteinian gravity, he would still look at Newtonian gravity like as part of a smaller scale, planetary solar system type way of looking at things. He wouldn't disagree with that.
No, you don't understand.
He would not have disagreed with that.
Newton and Einstein fundamentally disagree on certain aspects within the framework, and so when I'm trying to understand the framework and where they have the evidence for the framework, they disagree because they think the framework is different.
What can you
the robotic engineer didn't understand general relativity. He just had the layman's understanding of Einstein, and so he had the practical understanding of using his Newtonian equations and being like, yeah, this is how it is, and that's how he argued it. I honestly think it came mostly down to the robotic engineer didn't understand general relativity enough, didn't understand the differences between the two theories well enough, and so when the astrophysicist is trying to dunk on him with and calling him stupid, it's understandable that he gets a little bit triggered.
I don't know. I suppose the robotic engineer didn't go to school, or maybe he went to DeVry or something like that. or like some technical college. Like he certainly didn't go through like the normal course, because you have to have a certain degree of understanding of physics to get into engineering degrees, right? Especially ones that lead to robotic career.
You get a general understanding of general relativity. You don't get a very deep understanding of general relativity. There's two different things. You specify in that when you go into astrophysics, whereas robotic engineering isn't using general relativity much.
Yeah, I guess I see what you're saying there, but I still think the way you phrase it, I guess, where the guy didn't understand general relativity. I mean, that seemed, I don't know, for him to have a degree in robotics, right? He would have had to have gone through some physics courses, especially ones concerning general relativity. Right?
Yeah, but do you understand the difference between the inertial reference frames, for instance?
Yeah.
Yeah, so, like, to him, things on the ground were at rest. Like, he was using mass-on-mass attraction. He wasn't using bending and warping of space-time. You see the difference?
Yeah, well, that's where Newtonian gravity comes into play, when it's at smaller scales, right?
Yeah, that's
like
where he
the only time general relativity really comes into play with large objects, right? Such as galaxies and shit like that. That's the only time it really kind of makes sense, right?
Yeah, that's where
if you're working on a planetary scale or even a solar system scale, I mean, Newtonian physics works just fine, right? I mean, the math is the same. It's just the ideal behind what's causing it to happen, right?
You also gotta think about the thing, like, different teachers teach things better or worse. Different schools have better curriculums and stuff. Like, different countries have different curriculums, better or worse. You have also individual differences where, like, how well did you pay attention in class? Like, there's so much stuff that comes into this. So, like, I can't judge him for not knowing everything about Einstein.
I suppose the one guy, the robotics guy, probably has a general disagreement with Einsteinian relativity. I suppose that is such a thing. You know, I imagine that can be like a real thing. I won't deny that. I mean, there are many people in physics right now who disagree with Einstein, right? So
yeah, I mean, Eric Weinstein, although he is trying to improve upon it, not just deny it.
Whereas you just flat out deny it, right?
Well, I need to see evidence for it. I don't need to deny something. First you need to prove it exists before I have something to deny.
Well, it exists in the framework, like you said, right? The framework and the math works out. So, I mean, what else could we call it? I mean, we could call it flibbity-gibbet, I suppose, if you want. Flibbity-gibbet is the reason why planets orbit stars, right?
Well, you haven't verified that. You haven't verified any aspect of that. It's just it's a house of cards of assumptions.
No, but the observations
it's connected to the table. Table is not an assumption in this metaphor.
No, but what I'm saying, it's an explanation for something that's going on. It could be wrong. Right, it could be
it could be wrong.
Right,
it could be wrong.
There's certainly something going on that causes these planets to orbit stars, right?
Well, you're assuming they're planets. You're making a bunch of assumptions about gravity.
Well, now you're just
and the causes of all these things.
Conspiracy. You're just delving into conspiracy.
No, this is not a conspiracy. How is this a conspiracy?
That we're assuming they're planets?
Yeah. How do you know they're planets?
Well, they've sent objects to them. They've sent.
How do you know that?
Well, again, now you're just delving into the world of
no, I'm just asking you, how do you know that?
What they told us, right?
I'm just asking you, how do you know that?
Because you sent back photos. And let me guess, you saw a photo of King Kong now, so it must be real, right?
No, you saw a photo. You believe that photo. That's fine. Why do I have to believe it?
I don't care if you do or not.
Yeah, so it's fine. Like, that's just a belief for you. I don't need to have that belief.
So you're like if you can't poke it with a stick, you can't verify it type of guy, right?
No. I mean, if something, like, I have not been to Japan, but I know Japan exists because I can go to Japan myself and check it out.
Well, you could probably go to space too if you had enough money.
No. It's called verifiable. It's something I can go and verify myself right now if I want to. I cannot go into outer space.
Because you don't have the money, right?
It's just not verifiable for me.
If you had the money, you probably could, right?
Well, you believe that's possible. I don't have to believe that.
Yeah, because you're foolish, you monkey.
No, I'm just not foolish enough to have blind beliefs that have no substance or verifiable evidence to back them.
When you say no substance, you're disqualifying everything we have, right?
What do you have? Show me.
So everything I'm going to post right now, you're going to disqualify, correct?
You're just assuming. I asked you to show me.
Okay, so like if I pull up a picture from NASA, you're going to be like, no, that's not true.
Well, if you pull up a picture from NASA, I'm going to say, well, you believe that picture, I don't have to believe it. Give me evidence that picture is true, and you cannot provide that. Are you just going to talk over me because you cannot listen to the words I'm saying?
We wouldn't be having a conversation if I couldn't listen to the words you're saying. You do understand.
Why are you talking over me, dumbass?
Because I'm trying to understand what you mean by substance now.
How can you understand what I'm saying if you keep talking over me?
Because you're not addressing the point, so I need to keep pivoting you back to the actual point again. So now...
No, I'm addressing the point.
Okay.
You're not listening, so how could you know if I'm addressing the point or not?
I am listening. That's why I'm responding.
You're talking over me. How can you know if you're talking over me when you don't answer the thing I'm saying? So it doesn't make any sense.
Can we bring it back to the argument rather than bickering over who's talking over who? Because he's giving you space now.
Giving me space? Present an argument.
My argument is that you claim that the whole world is fake, or that's a
straw man argument.
That is your ideal of what's going on.
That's a straw man argument. I don't claim the whole world is fake.
Well, you would have to if you would think it was.
No, I don't have to. You have to claim that I have to, but I don't have to, and I never have.
Well, I suppose you can just take the dumb guy route. Right? Be like, oh, I don't know.
Well, I suppose you can just start making up bullshit and try to imagine other things.
But no, I mean, I've seen this line of reasoning before where are you going to talk over me?
All I'm asking for is evidence of your belief. I have not presented a claim or anything, so...
I mean, we've seen live video of the shit, right? Some people watched it live.
Live video of what, dude? Live video of what?
Of objects in space orbiting the Earth. And even going away from the Earth towards the moon. Right?
Dude, how can you Yeah. So what, hold on, friend. What film shows an object completing an orbit of the Earth? What film?
Well, any of the shuttle missions or in any of the, what's the thing that's up there now? The ISS, any of them missions, that thing's orbiting Earth. I mean, what else could it be doing?
No, dude. No, like I said, what film shows something completing an orbit?
Oh, so you want something outside of that object, filming it going around.
Yeah, because otherwise you're just filming you traveling around, and then you're inferring it's orbiting. That's not an orbit.
Well, what else could it be doing? And by the way, in order to get that shot that you want, you would have to be incredibly far away, and you wouldn't be able to see the object that's orbiting.
That's not my problem that you can't prove that something's orbiting something, dude. That's your problem.
We don't have to see that. We can we can
Right, we
see
don't
it in
have
real
to see
time
it.
as they go around.
Exactly, we don't have to see it because you're just inferring it. Good point.
Right. Again, we don't have to go above the ISS and look down on it to see it circling around. We can look from inside it. I mean, you're not asking people to take pictures of airplanes from above them flying from California to China. You know what I mean? You're not asking for that. You can sit in that airplane and know you went from California to China.
Fair point. The problem is that flying from one location on Earth to another is not extraordinary. What is extraordinary is the idea of a giant space ball that's not curved anywhere. That's extraordinary.
What do you mean not curved anywhere?
Yeah, not curved. You know, like when you go out into the real world, there's no curve anywhere.
It's been measured several times. Right?
Oh, really? So now you finally get it that the picture idea was a stupid idea, but the curvature measurement
No, the picture is just
real evidence.
Cherry on the cake.
Oh,
cherry on the pie.
It don't matter. No, the measurements are the cherry, dude, not the other way around.
Well, the measurements beat y'all before we even went to space, right? So
yeah, cool. So that's what you should have led with. So what's your measurements? Hit me.
Well, there's been several taken. You know what I mean?
Oh, really? So several. So just give us one then. From the major ones you could pick from, just pick one.
Well, shit. I mean, you can go out and do it yourself, right? You can go out to a long bridge or something like that and measure it yourself, right? Yeah, just look at any of the geologists who fucking measured it, right? Well, I suppose I can go on the internet and Google random geologists who measured curve, and I'll show it to you, and you'd be like, oh, that's just fake. They're just telling you that.
I don't know, dude. You don't seem to have a very high standard of evidence here, bro.
What is your standard of evidence? Being outside of the ISS, above it, looking down at the Earth, watching it fly around? That's your standard.
Dude, why are you going backwards? I thought we were on measurements.
No, but I understand your standards, though. Your standards are unattainable from anyone.
Yeah. Standards that would actually arbitrate the proposition conclusively. Yeah, those standards.
Again, your standards are incredibly high. You're asking someone to watch a plane fly from California to California to China and being like, oh, yeah, look, I can see it flying over there. It must have went there.
No, don't worry about it, bro. I'm just asking for it to be validated of the claim of what it's actually doing, not just a bunch of guesswork and inference.
It is validated. Like, we measured it, and then we went to space and saw it. That was
validation. Give an example. Yeah, I don't know, dude. Did I not ask for an example, and I still haven't heard one yet?
I suppose I'll have to bring up my internet and post you a link of some geologist or somebody like that who's fucking...
Oh, yeah, you're going to post some random link that you didn't read?
Right, some random link that you won't believe, right?
No. Actually, what actually is going to happen is a random link that will be scrutinized, and then if it's correct, it'll be acquiesced, and if it's not, it'll be critiqued. I mean, it almost sounds like you have this ending.
It's just like the,
go ahead.
It's just like the trip to South or the Antarctic Circle, right? Antarctica.
What about it?
It's just like that. Like, you guys don't believe a word of that. You guys think it's all fake because I guess
it's irrelevant. No, dude. We here.
No, it's just your standard of evidence is ridiculous.
Oh, dude. No, dude. Nobody here said that that's like not happening. We said it's irrelevant to the proposition or whether the Earth is flat or not.
Well, I would love to see a model where that works.
Dude, I would love to see you present a syllogism that proves that whether or not you see the 24-hour sun can decide whether the Earth is flat or a globe.
Because there's no physical object that it can do it on that's flat.
Do what?
What it did in Antarctica.
Really? Okay.
Yeah. No. Yeah. That is a positive statement by me. There is no physical object that can happen.
So lay out all the assumptions that are necessary to carry that conclusion and parse out all the particulars for me that reaches your conclusion of an assessment.
Well, you can model it, right?
Oh.
Or can you?
So you can reify.
Can you model it on a flat Earth?
Dude,
I would love to see that.
Yeah, it's easy.
All right, well, maybe you'll show it to me one day.
Yeah, an Einstein-Rosen loop manifold, which is inverted time and space, dude, where an object is translocated in many different facets, dude. Easy.
So
Problem solved.
word salad, right?
Oh, wait a minute. So Einstein is word salad?
No, the way you're using that though is you're just saying.
No. What I'm saying is, so you just said it just has to be modeled. I gave you a way it could be modeled, and then all of a sudden it's word salad. So you see, it doesn't matter, dude, what's presented to you. Yeah, you have assumptions about the nature of the Earth and the Sun relative to each other in free space, that they're concrete objects that have a particular distance, particular orientations, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. You got all these assumptions stacked, right? You don't even know what they are.
No, I'm trying to understand how the Einstein-Rosen bridge thing can make it seem like there's a circling sun around the bottom there. I'm trying to wrap my head around that. That's why I called it word salad, because you use that for you just brought that up for no, and there's no.
Dude, no, it's very simple. How do you? Yeah, it's very simple. Yeah, no, it's simple. How do you see things? By light entering your eye, right?
Yeah.
For the optic, right? So the only thing that's required is the light of the object to reach the observer's point of view. That's it.
Right. So the sun can be doing whatever it wants to do as long as it fits your flat Earth, right?
Well, I mean, that's what you do.
Well, no, we can actually model it on a physical object, right? We can actually show it to you.
Okay. So you can model it this way. I can model it that way. Whose model is better?
You can't model it.
Model validated.
You can't model it. You say you can, you cannot. Without using some kind of nonsense refraction.
Flamingoboot.
So you just admitted it can be modeled.
Oh yeah, with some magic light bending property, sure. But I'd like to see it. I would like to see it.
When something doesn't match the geometric claims, to appeal to magic bendy light is ridiculous. Guess what,
because you don't need magic bending light with the ball.
Oh, really? No, you do need magic bendy light.
Not yes, you do need it. Yes, you do. In Antarctica, you don't.
You need it for every single observation that supersedes.
You don't need it to model out the 24-hour sun in Antarctica.
So what? You need it for everything else. Like why the horizon? Why the horizon is 10 times further, dude.
You need ridiculous amounts of refraction to make that work.
No, I don't need refraction at all, dude.
Oh, so you can make it work without refraction.
I can make it work with transdimensional relocation.
And at the same time circling around the planet.
Yeah.
Or the Earth, whatever you call it.
Yeah, it's called transdimensional relocation, dude.
That's
in two places at once, dude. In a higher dimension.
That's gobbledygook. That's gobbledygook. That's woo-woo.
So you don't believe so you don't actually believe in the heliocentric worldview about superpositions and other type of stuff and all that other nonsense? You don't believe that? Okay, cool.
Yeah, because the sun's in a superposition in Antarctica. Right. Again, that's trying to shoehorn in that into your.
Yeah, I mean it's cool, dude. It's cool that you think that this is just out there, dude. But notice how you're just talking about something that's occurring in the sky, dude. When are you going to talk about the measurement of the ground that you were supposed to have given me like 10 minutes ago?
Well, yeah, it's been measured several times.
I know you keep saying that, but it seems to be a joke. Yeah, there seems to be a choke every time it's time to show us an example.
You have a Google, dude. You can fucking go on.
Oh yeah,
you guys don't even have a chat to coincide with your fucking.
We got a chat.
What are you? So Google is your.
Did this dude just say we don't have a chat to coincide with our stream? What the
side chat?
Yeah, I don't know. I just.
Oh my god!
It's
unbelievable.
General.
There's no surface measurements, dude.
I mean, if there's another chat, please point me to it.
Bro, what platform are you on? PC? Mac? Okay, so PC. So if you're looking at all our faces in the tiles, in the very upper top right corner, you're going to see a very small, probably faded black or gray little chat head. You got to go over there, click that once.
Oh, yeah, thank you.
Down menu. Yep.
Thank you. I didn't know you
Hey, don't get me wrong. Don't get me wrong. It's not as intuitive as it used to be. Yeah, so go ahead and put in a measurement of the Earth being a curved globe where it doesn't assume that the Earth is a curved globe in the first place. I'd like to see one of those. But I relent because I actually think I steamrolled over my bro who was in the middle of a convo because I'm hyped.
Oh no, I appreciate it. Like, I was getting annoyed. I would have started calling him a retard if you hadn't stepped in.
Wait, did I call him a retard?
No, I think you managed to dodge it. I think we just barely dodged it.
I think it's just awesome that now you got Globers saying gobbledygook about Einstein.
Oh yeah, and if you need magic bendy light to answer for the geometric inadequacies of your claim, that's crazy. Even though Glover's have been doing that since day one.
We don't
Why
need to
is the
measure
horizon-
the surface of the Earth. We got pictures.
Yeah. Well, I don't know any scientific journal that accepts pictures alone as prima facie evidence of the conclusion of a matter. They require other data corresponding, right? Correlating, validating.
It's always the same appeal to authority.
He assumed the Einstein, what's it called, the Rosen loop, that has a bunch of refraction built into it, but really it's like it's got just like things like appearing in different places, right? Basically, just gobbledygook.
The government agencies told me so. They showed me all their evidence. It's all I need to know. Ask your Google. Your Google will let you know. You got a Google, right?
Yeah, that's why I'm not looking it up, because I already know how you guys feel about that. It's all government. The government told you that, therefore it's real. And in my view, everything's fake. Everything's fake. 9/11 was a hoax. Nobody died in none of the shootings. Let me guess, you guys do it all, right?
Yeah, no, we don't. This is flat Earth strictly. You're not providing us with evidence. Please do so.
Yeah, that was just a poisoning the well and strawman fallacies on steroids. Like, get checked.
No, but that's the truth, though. Right?
It's
You guys
not.
think
You're
the
just a
whole world is
liar and a
fake?
fucking idiot. That's
You guys think the whole world
that's
is
the
fake?
truth.
Because for real,
No, we never claimed that. That's your retarded.
Uh-oh, Drace going off the deep end.
So if
Yeah,
they're
I'm
lying
going to call him
us-
retarded endlessly if he doesn't stop. And so, like somebody needs to either rein him in and get him to talk sense, or he just needs to be booted.
No, he needs to put forth a piece of evidence and stop dancing around. I mean, or transversely, you could just ask. You could ask flat earthers to present some flat earth evidence. That'd be fair as well.
Yeah, anything other than just talking nonsense and lying about people and just making up stuff, like, that's not what we're talking about. We're not in your fairy tale imagination land about other people. You ready to give us your curve now?
Ask your Google for the curvature calculator.
Yeah, ask Google for some
I don't
help.
need to. I've seen photos of it looking curved, right? Now, and I'm not talking about photos from space neither. I'm talking about photos of long stretches of bridges and stuff that clearly are curved, right?
So the bridges
So
look
Brett-
curved, therefore the Earth is curved. Is that your argument now?
Well, I mean, what could be causing that, right?
I don't know, dude. I guess it would depend on the bridge because a lot of bridges are designed to be curved.
I'm talking about long straight bridges, long flat bridges, right? I'm not
Well,
talking
if they're
about.
long and straight and flat, they're not curved. Pick one. They're either flat or they're curved.
Well, when you
I don't know.
take a picture down the length of them, they look like they're
Hey,
going down.
flaming, slow down. They're either flat or they're curved. Please pick one.
They're both.
So flat objects are now
They're
curved.
built level above the ground, right?
So they're built level, they're flat, but yet you see they're curved. You should
Well, when
go
you
and
look
get your
down the
eyes
length
checked,
of
mate.
them, when you
All right,
look
cool.
down the length of them,
All right.
they're curved, right?
Cool. Example, please.
Gosh, what's the one? I don't know. I guess. Let me go look. Fuck, Jesus Christ. No, because you guys are just going to claim it's fake anyway, so there's no point.
Oh my goodness, dude. Then why even? If there's no point, why are you here, bro?
The funny thing is, we didn't claim anything was fake. He's just retarded.
Okay, listen. If you present a picture of a bridge that in the image has the apparent nature of what looks like a curved line to the bridge, and we say, "Oh, it's because of this optical effect, or it's because the way that perspective works when you're using this certain lens, or this, that, and the other." That's not just saying it's fake. It's just saying your claim about because the image is curved means the Earth is curved might be fake. So I think you're just Freudian slip reverse engineering a projection onto us that your argument is just that you're convinced that it's a globe because you saw a curve and you didn't actually scrutinize it of whether it should or shouldn't be curved, and you don't want to be called out about it.
No, I mean, I would like to know what's causing this bridge to look curved, right? The one
yeah,
over
yeah.
Wisconsin train, right?
Then post it up. Put some effort in, post it into side chat. We can have a look. We might be able to help you out.
I don't know if I'm allowed to post anything.
Yeah, you might not have the rank yet. Give it a try.
Yeah, it did. Hold on, I'll try again.
In my infinite kindness, you can just send it to me and I will post it for you.
It's too many steps.
It's literally the same. Isn't it the same amount of steps? Open a chat, send image. It's either opening the chat here or opening the chat in his DMs. Either way, it's just opening the chat, send image.
I mean, you guys all know the Soundly pictures, right? You guys know who Soundly is? Clearly, you're flat earthers, so you know who Soundly is.
Yeah.
Let's scrutinize those photos. Did he fake them? Is he a CIA deep state plant? What's with him?
Talking about Pontchartrain, dude?
Yes. That bridge looks like it's
Another black
curving over
swan.
a
Now, watch
hump.
this video. It's a black swan. Otherwise, you live on a planet, whatever that is. It's a county. There's so much curve in that photo. Besides, it's another
See a photo.
black swan.
I just love that they train wreck themselves trying to use Soundly as an authority.
I mean, he's not an authority, but he took a bunch of pretty cool pictures, right, of this bridge and shit, right? That I mean, it looks like it. What is it? It looks like it's going over a hump, right? Doesn't it?
It's power lines, actually. They're
no, he had bridges too.
Yeah, they're going into a mirage. So how do you know that this is Earth curve?
I mean, it looks like there's a hump in the water there.
So optically, you're looking at an optical distortion, and you believe that's Earth curve. How is that evidence of anything?
Well, because it looks like it, right? I mean, what's your guys' argument? You go outside and it looks flat, right? You can see things far away, right? So it must be flat. So you're making an observation here, and you're drawing inferences off that observation, right?
So are you.
It's the same thing I'm doing.
No.
Nope.
If you have a good look at your bridge there, Flaming, someone tried to say it before, but it roboted out. If that's the case, then you must live on a very tiny little ball.
No, I think they did the math on this. It's about right. Huh?
No, it's not. It's not even related to right.
With a little bit of refraction, it's just about right.
If the to right, you'd be lucky to fit the United States on your ball, let alone any other country.
No, he can't fit the United States on that tiny ball. They're just delusional, and like he is just a believer in Soundly and these other guys. He's just a follower who doesn't know any better.
So what is Soundly, some deep state CIA agent, faked it all?
No, we don't claim anything.
No, he's just like you. He doesn't do his homework.
Those observations are on a day-to-day case basis based on the conditions of the day.
Well, he did it in several different days. He did it 100 times.
Bro,
different days. Watch the
video. Bro.
Yeah, Nathan Oakley. Yeah, he's a real authority on this. No, right? The guy's never left his couch.
Nathan, excuse me, friend. This is on his channel, but this is not his video. He's reposting it.
Roboting.
And you do the math on the curvature in that thread. You can measure between those pylons, and then you tell me how big ball you live on.
Yeah, he can't provide that. He can just invoke Soundly and like appeal to them and then misrepresent our position because he has nothing.
With that insta prediction, we say yes, only data, and so it's like projecting because of whoever he is or whatever, and then you reject Nathan Oakley just because what he did doesn't leave us out. It's a double standard, homie. Forget the person. Look at the data.
The best part about all of this is we can basically show using the same mirage or refraction to how a flat railing also becomes bent, just like in soundless image.
Yeah, the problem with Soundly's photograph is he can't reproduce it.
And basically, the pylons go straight until the mirage, and then appear to bend a little bit down. But then when we look at it when there's days with no mirage, we can see all the way to the other side. So his globe is destroyed.
I'll tell you something else, right? So these search engines like Google and AIs and all that, they want to be fucking ashamed of themselves for fucking referencing it as any kind of indication that the Earth is a globe. I mean, fine, think the Earth is a globe, but there's there's an article out there that's been published by, I don't know, someone just did a blog, right? And they said, yeah, the Earth's a globe, but not on that basis, you fucking idiots. Paraphrasing, of course.
Yeah, it makes the globe side looks really dumb when they keep invoking things that are clearly not supporting their position, and when it like keeps getting pushed and pushed and pushed, you're like, come on, bro. Like, you can't all be this dumb.
Like I said, they're not dumb. They just are operating on a myriad of presuppositions and appeals to authority.
Yeah, that's the problem. I really feel like the globe is retarding people's intelligence, making them retarded, slower in thinking, stuck in their ways.
Yeah, and their education's lacking as well, because if they had a good education, they would never believe in the globe.
That's true.
Best evidence is trust NASA.
Yeah, NASA's trustworthy. Because they never faked the lunar landings.
What's up? Yo, Twonger, what's up?
He doesn't talk much anymore.
Who here actually thinks the Earth is flat? Who here actually thinks the Earth is flat?
most of us.
It's sad.
Why?
Just the intelligence level of this room.
So you assume that, but if the Earth measured flat, and you were to measure it for yourself, would you be dumb to reject your measurements and sense it's a reality for a belief that because everybody holds it? Can you answer my question?
Because lots of people believe something you don't have to, yeah. That's fine.
Yeah, so we went out and we checked the Earth and the assumptions within the belief system that we were fed as children and taught in schools. And turns out that a bunch of their assumptions just fail when tested.
Question: is the moon an illusion?
I don't know what I'm not having claims about the moon.
Damn. I'm just trying to understand this.
Yeah, it's really easy to understand. You go out and you measure the waters of the Earth and see if it's curving, because they claim the Earth is 70% water and curving. So the water would conform to the ball.
The curvature calculator works off of observer height and drop over distance. So you have to know those numbers to punch it into the calculator, and you can find out how much curvature should be there.
Oh, have you ever got to the edge of Earth?
We don't claim there's an edge or anything like that. That's not part of our claims. We don't claim to be going to any edges. So, no, we don't claim anything like that. We don't know anything about that. We're not making any claims on that. So, try to focus. We're talking about the surface of the Earth.
Okay. Honestly, I thought this was going to be like a trolling room, but I guess it's not.
It's not. It's based on measurable, repeatable, verifiable evidence.
Oh.
I mean, we didn't want to believe this. No one wants to be a social outcast and be called dumb by random people who don't know anything about you.
Damn.
But when you test it for yourself and you find out they've been telling you something that's not true, and the deeper you look, the more errors you find, then why would you believe it?
Yeah, and I bet it's like you coming in, saying that the IQ in here is low. I bet you if we tested you on your knowledge of the globe and the heliocentric paradigm, you'd know basically nothing. Just a guess. Maybe you could prove me wrong. Like, for instance, do you know off the top of your head what the radius value of the Earth is claimed to be?
No. I asked Google and it says it's not flat.
Yeah. Google tends to say things that it's programmed to say. What about the rotation, right? How fast at the equator is the Earth claimed to be moving, spinning? Do you know that?
Fast.
Pretty fast. What about distance to the sun? Do you know off the top of your head? What is the claimed distance to the sun?
It takes 8 minutes for light to get here. That's all
8
I
minutes.
know.
How far is that?
At the speed of light. 8 minutes at the speed of light.
You don't know. If you don't know, that's fine. Right. I'm not having a go at you. For you to come in here and call us low IQ is ironic when you know next to nothing about the thing that you claim you believe in.
93 million miles away is what they say.
Yep. Radius value of Earth 3,959 miles, which is 6,371 kilometers. You've got a circumference of about 24,000 miles. You've got a distance of the sun 93 million miles. They claim that Earth is rotating at a speed of around 1,040 miles per hour at the equator. It goes on and on. Like, we've studied this stuff so that we could actually know a little bit about it, because if you want to go out into reality and test those values and those claims, then you should know what those values are and why they're claiming them. Do you know how they got any of those values?
What values?
The values, like the claimed measurements of these values, right? Speed of rotation, right? Rate of rotation, curvature rate,
I'm not no
radius
rocket
value,
science.
distance to the sun, all that. You know how they got any of those numbers?
Nope.
No. Might be worth looking into before you come in telling people that they're stupid for not believing in it.
Like I said, appeal to authority. You don't even need to think. Just ask Google.
Exactly. Google's never lied.
So all you've ever observed and experienced is a motionless flat Earth, and you've only ever used it as such. And the average
If it is
person,
flat, though, wouldn't there be an edge?
well, I don't know about the extent of the plane. We breathe gas pressure, right? So we live within a gaseous pressurized system. So I can only conclude from that we are in a closed, contained system. So there would probably
How can you go around the world, though, without falling off an edge if it's flat?
No,
I'll help you real quick.
Yeah, go on.
Yeah. So the way you go around the world is you follow your compass east or west, for instance, and that's a giant circle. So if you had a giant magnet in your house and you held the compass would point towards your house, and then you would go west. That's a circle around your house, bro.
Okay.
On a globe, you're always at the highest point of reference relative to the rest of the ball. So you have to have exponential drop all 360 degrees around your position as the observer. On the flat waters, you do not experience this. No matter how powerful of a zoom you have and how far you zoom, you never find this exponential rate of drop. That is the biggest issue.
I'm confused. Are things supposed to be blocked on the globe, or am I supposed to have more vision on the globe? Could you help me out with that?
On the globe,
You should be falling away from you.
Yeah, so really quickly, like, if is the prediction made by the typical oblate spheroid believer going to be that curvature is going to block things from your view, or is it going to be that you have a vantage point by which you can see farther?
Wasn't Drace talking to Charlie?
Yeah, I know. That was the question I asked, though.
That's fine.
I haven't seen my friend in a while, and he's in a VC over here. It was Twanger. I said hi to him in the beginning. That's why I joined here.
Okay.
Luck, y'all. And wait, one more question though. So, was the moon landing fake?
Well, before we go into that, he was talking about the globe prediction of the horizon blocking things, right?
Something like that.
Yeah, so the globe prediction of things being blocked in the distance uses an orthographic side view calculation to compare to real-life observation. However, this orthographic side view calculation does not account for things getting smaller with distance. So if we believe in the globe and we think that model represents reality, things don't get smaller with distance. We observe things getting smaller with distance, so we know that model is wrong. If we try to apply Earth curve and things getting smaller with distance together, things don't look like reality, so globe is screwed.
Yeah, I have a question if that's okay. I was curious what the falsification criteria for the flat Earth is.
You go out and you measure the curve.
Mm-hmm. Okay, and what does that mean?
That means you measure the curve. What do you mean? What does it mean?
Yeah, like do I take out a ruler? What does that mean?
Well, you could try to use lasers of different wavelengths, shoot them across the ground, and see that they don't hit the target because they're going up into the air, and then because they're going up into the air, now you need to try to prove that the cause of that is refraction. So you go out and you or not refraction, but rather because there's no refraction and it's going up into the air, so you go out and you check the conditions of the day and where the lasers are.
I'm confused. I thought we were talking about
to see if there's a difference between the starting point and the end point for optical
I guess I'm confused.
to be able to be the cause of this.
Physical curvature of the Earth. And you're talking about photons. Why are you doing that? I was talking about the curvature of the Earth, not photons.
Yeah, we're measuring the curvature of the Earth to a flat standard.
Well, hold on. When I'm asking, like, the other day I was building my house, right? And I got a carpenter. And when I was like, hey, can you make my house so and so inches big? I didn't tell him to get a laser and look at the laser. I told him to look at the ground. So I'm curious about the ground. You know what I mean? So I just
when
feel
the
like
guy builds your house, he uses a laser level and other things to get it straight and level because it's a flat standard to make it flat too. So you can measure it too. So he measures to the flat standard to the ground so that your floor is flat and not jagged or
he's
curved.
not looking at he's looking at the ground. But yeah, so really quickly, I just wanted to know, like, because we already moved past that. Like, you're just confused. We were talking about the Earth curvature, and you're talking about.
You're just retarded. You don't understand. You're just retarded, and you don't understand that we need to have a standard to measure to. So just looking at the ground and saying, "Oh, it's curved," that's just retarded. That's not measuring anything. Like, you can measure the distance to the horizon, for instance, and try to say, well, like, this horizon measurement appears to match with my globe. You could try to find those. That would be the claimed geometric horizon no glober can ever find, apparently. So you can try to do whatever you want. Just don't talk bullshit.
Yeah, this is Ham. He's got a couple of accounts, but yeah, he talks about the Grand Slam and he poses as a flat earther that makes ridiculous claims like Flat Earth Society garbage. Something. Then another day he'll come in and he'll feel like he's an advocate for the globe, and I'd say, yeah, welcome to Ham.
Well, I just don't get it. Shithead.
Just another one.